Welcome back to the foundational episodes of Not a Straight Line with Peter Daly-Dickson. Many of us struggle to find purpose in this world, but it's important to listen to your inner voice when trying to find your guiding star. In this last foundational episode, Peter talks about how he was pulled in many working directions, trying to find the purpose of his life, about how he followed his internal compass, and accepting yourself for who you are and what you will become. Enjoy foundational episode number 5, The Internal Compass, Authenticity and Self-Acceptance.
I've always been interested in two things: computers and acting, drama, theatre, which sounds like a weird combination, but I'm a weird guy, so that's okay.
I don't think it's that weird. I think we all have these multiple facets to our personalities. But
when I left school, I travelled for a bit, and then I went and studied computers, and then I went back to Hong Kong. I was brought up in Hong Kong, but I went back to Hong Kong to work, and I jumped into a couple of amateur theatre groups. I wanted to keep that going. I loved to keep that going. It was a social life as well as keeping that creative energy going. And I remember traveling home on the bus one night from work. I was on the top deck. So how old would I have been? 20, 21, 22, early 20s anyway. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to get to 40 and wonder what my life would have been like if I'd gone to drama school. I didn't want to have that future regret, if you like. And me being me, immediately went to the place of, well, the only way that I can not have that future regret is to go to drama school. So from Hong Kong, I applied to drama schools in the UK, and I fortunately got into Guildford School of Acting, a relatively prestigious, I guess, drama school. And my non-straight line journey then took that track. So already you can see, from ice cream van man to computer nerd. I was working in computers and networking and stuff, to now working as a professional actor. And I got an agent from my final year showcase. I say final year, it was a 1-year postgrad course from the showcase at the end of the program. And I started working as a professional actor. I did Panto, and I did West End, and I did national tours, and I did theatre and education. And when you are in work as an actor, it is the best job in the world, hands down. But it's off and on. It's more off than on. And I think those things that do stay with you are, I guess, part of the internal compass that we all have that keeps us moving towards the thing which is most important to us. And then coming to 2021, I shared that something happened. And what happened is that the result of what happened is I walked away from the software company that I had started. I was working with 2 friends. I feel bad about what happened there. That there was a break of several years. It's really only the last. We got back in touch during the Rugby World Cup last year. So hopefully that relationship will be able to heal back again. Yeah. So my mental health was I just was not in a good place, and I walked away. And my wife, fully supportive, she could see that I, was becoming I don't want to sound too dramatic about it, but a shadow of my former self, I guess. I think Ralph Waldo Emerson said, health is the first wealth. So she was concerned for my health. But the reality is that bills still have to be paid. The mortgage still has to be paid. So she found me the job that I'm currently doing, which is moving luxury vehicles and other vehicles around the UK, from customers to dealers, from dealers to customers, from one depot to another depot, whatever. If a vehicle needs to be moved, they give it to people like me to move them around. And that's done a tremendous amount for me, not least of which slowing me down. So ADHD, that kind of, always on the move, got to be doing stuff, get that dopamine, When you drive in a car, you can't go over the speed limit. Well, because if you can, but if you go over the speed limit when you drive professionally, then you don't.
You won't be driving professionally very long.
Very long, exactly. So straight away you're slowing down, and when you're waiting for a bus or a train to get you to the next job, you can jump up and down all you like, but it's not going to make your transport arrive any quicker. So just that slower pace of life was just immensely valuable and necessary for me. And the other thing that it gave me was time to think. I am a thinker. I am a deep thinker. And I never really consistently gave myself time to do the quality of thinking, which I thrive on.
It feels to me like this idea of having the internal compass, it's almost like you're being guided by a purpose. And that purpose, I don't think changes that significantly. It might waver a bit in terms of course corrections. It's like we go through life and we're trying to answer the same questions. Like in my work, has been through various iterations and rehashes and whatnot. But the question behind it is the same: is how do we build trust at scale authentically, and how do we build a more authentic world? That's the North Star.
That's your guiding light for you. Yeah. I hear what you're saying about purpose, Rob. I think the word it's a bit like ADHD in that ADHD suffers from bad name. It's like attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Attention deficit.
You think of school kids on sweeties, don't you?
Yeah, but also someone with ADHD has no problem with their attention. They can apply their attention really, really well. It's just often not on the right things for the right amount of time. There's no deficit of attention. And I think purpose suffers also from overuse, really, more than anything. And you see blog posts and you see videos, about you got to find your purpose and realize your purpose. And there's a lot of people out there, maybe some people listen to this podcast thinking, if only I knew what my purpose was in life, then I'd be able to move towards it. I think it's really fucking easy. Your purpose is to be you. Find out and know yourself so well that you are comfortable and happy with who and where you are. And I've never verbalized that before. So I thank you for the gift, Rob, of being able to verbalize that. And I think ultimately what you said about creating space for the driving job is what that has given me. I have been able to come to an acceptance of who I am and where I am. And now I can move forward with that.
Thank you for listening to the 5 episodes of the introductory series to Not a Straight Line with Peter Daly-Dickson. As you've probably guessed, these are 5 introductory episodes to your host for ongoing episodes with other guests sharing their Not a Straight Line story. But how did we build these episodes, you might ask? Stay tuned for the uncut full conversation as a bonus immediately after this one in the Not a Straight Line feed. You'll find out the real reason Pete recorded his conversation with the Lyft driver, what one of the primary instigations was for the Not a Straight Line podcast, and if you're a growth-minded entrepreneur, how you might be able to benefit from the service that got this podcast started. As always, if you like this episode, make sure you tell a friend or tell us by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Not a Straight Line.
Hi, Pete here again. Just a quick question before you go. Have you ever dreamed of having your own podcast but held back? Too busy, unsure where to start, worried it's too complicated or expensive? Well, this Black Friday, I've made it easier and cheaper than ever to finally start. Just visit activateyourpodcast.com/Friday and you can grab the exclusive offer before it's gone. This is your moment. Don't miss it.